Hi kids, how are you all? So here is another episode from the lesson Cell, and in this we will be studying about cell size. What is the size of a cell and can we see it? No, we cannot see it because it can be seen only through a microscope except the largest cell. But we can at least imagine how small the cell is. So you all must be having this scale with which you draw lines in your notebook, and there is a centimeter side. Can you see the centimeter side in your scale? So if I draw a rough diagram of the scale, suppose this is my scale, and if I draw maybe a few centimeters, maybe this is 1 centimeter, 2 and 3, and in between the centimeter there are markings. You know this, you all have seen a scale, right? So the gap between any two small markings is called millimeter. Alright, between the small marking between any 2 centimeter, the distance is called millimeter. Now try and divide this small distance into 10 parts at least. Divide it into 10 parts and then pick just one. That will be 0.1 millimeter. Usually the cells are of this shape. They are even smaller than this, but many cells are of this size also. They are so small that the unit is called μm. It's a U with a long end, μm. So this is the size of a small cell, and there are some cells even smaller than this. So the size of the cell is measured in μm. And can you now just imagine in your mind how tiny the cell can be? The largest cell is of ostrich egg, and not the entire ostrich egg, the yolk part. The yolk part of ostrich's egg is the largest cell. The white part in the cell provides nutrition to this small baby cell, and the white cover, it protects the cell. So the largest cell is ostrich's egg, whereas the smallest cell is a bacteria. And not all bacteria, one special bacteria which is named mycoplasma. It is also called PPLO. This is the smallest cell. So this was cell size. Now let us move to the next topic, cell shape. Cells are of various shapes based on their function and where do they live. So next topic is cell shape. A cell can have no shape also, like amoeba. Amoeba has no shape. It is an irregular organism with a nucleus and all the cell organelles which are there in a well-shaped cell also. So amoeba has no shape. It is an irregular shaped organism and can exist independently. Cell has the power to exist even independently. There can be slipper-shaped slipper like paramecium. Paramecium is a slipper-shaped organism. So if you have ever seen the structure of paramecium, it is something like this with some tiny hair-like structure all around it. This organism also exists independently and has all the organelles also. So it can be of slipper shaped. In our body we have spherical cells like RBCs or somewhat cuboidal cells like cheek cells. Cell can be branched also. A cell can be branched also like the nerve cell. If you have seen the diagram of nerve cell, it is something like this. It can be branched and it has endings on which the next nerve cell gets attached so that The message can be transferred quickly from brain to all parts of the body. Even when a tiny pin pricks your small finger in the feet, you immediately withdraw your feet. Why? Because of these nerve cells. So they are branched, elaborate structures. Now the cells can be spindle shaped also. Spindle in the shape of an eye, like the muscle cells. Muscle cells have the power to contract and relax. So cells can be of various shapes. Alright, based on their function. There is a special cell in our body called white blood cell. Usually it is round only, but when an infection, a germ enters our body somehow, this white blood cells show amoeboid movement. It moves like this amoeba. It goes out of the blood vessel and engulfs. Engulf means eats, and engulfs that bacteria or germ which has entered our body. So there are different shapes and sizes of the cell based on their function. The next thing which we have to study is how the cell makes up an organism and what is division of labor. So first let us study division of labor. Division of labor means all parts of cell have their own specific work. In our body also, if you see, will your stomach ever do the work of heart? Or will your heart ever do the work of your kidneys? No. Their functions are already decided and they stick to their function. Whatever function is done by one particular organ, it will not be done by another organ. There are markings that you have to do this work, you have to do this work, and you have to do this work. This is what is called division of labor. Now imagine in your entire body this is shown, but even inside a cell this is shown. When we will study the different cell organelles, you will understand how all these different organelles which are there, tiny beings in the cell, they have different functions altogether. No two organelles have the same function. So division of labor is shown inside this tiny cell also. So division of labor means every organelle has a specific function. The next thing is cell as the fundamental unit of life. Fundamental unit of life means how cell aligns and forms an organism. Cell as fundamental unit of life. For example, if you see this wall, the wall is initially made up of bricks. When the mason had laid several bricks together, a wall was made. Maybe this is a wall. The mason laid the bricks in a certain manner and the wall was made. And when more walls, all the walls and doors and windows, they joined, then we get our house. There's a window also in the house. So this is how a house is made. Now, how a cell makes an organism. So imagine this is a cell. Okay. Now these same type of cells, they join to make up a tissue. Just like the bricks join to make wall, in the same way, the same type of tissues is made by same cells. When same cells join, they make up a structure called tissue. When different tissues combine, they make up an organ. Let us take the example of stomach. Now, If you imagine a stomach, there will be one tissue which will make its lining. There will be one tissue where the food which we eat is stored. Then you know there are enzymes in the stomach, so there will be one tissue where that enzyme is stored. You also know there is acid in the stomach. It cannot be all around in the stomach. It has to be kept securely in a tissue, otherwise the entire stomach may burn out. So there will be a different tissue where that acid is stored. So there are various tissues which combine together to make up an organ like stomach. Then different organs, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, different organs join together to make up an organ system like stomach, small intestine, large intestine. They combine to make up the digestive system. When different organ systems combine, they make up the whole organism. Digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, circulatory system. When all the systems combine together, then an organism is made. This is what is called levels of organization. How a cell aligns itself and makes up a whole new organism. The same type of cells join to make tissue. Different tissues make up organ. Different organs make up organ system, and different organ systems make up an organism. So this is what is levels of organization. Now a cell is also capable of living independently, and it can combine together to make up an organism also. So cells, the organism on the basis of how many cells are there, are of two types, unicellular and multicellular. Uni means one. This word uni means one. So organisms which have only one cell. In the previous talk, I told you about some organism when we were studying the shape. Amoeba, paramecium, there are many more also, and if you know any organism which is unicellular, mention in the comment section. So amoeba, paramecium, these are some examples of unicellular organism, means they have only one cell and they can exist independently. Multi means many. So organisms with many cells or more than one cell are called multicellular organism. For example, tree, or even humans, or dog, cat, anything around you which you can see is actually multicellular, because single cell we cannot see except the ostrich's egg. Now what is this cell made up of? Cell is made up of two things: non-living things. Non-living things inside the cell, yes, non-living things and living things. There are two types of things inside the cell. What non-living things? Oxygen you have taken in, carbon dioxide you have produced. Where are all these? Inside the cell. So there are different gases which are there in the cell. They are non-living. There are several chemical compounds which get formed during different life activities. So all those are non-living. The food you have taken during after digestion, it has changed into end products like glucose, amino acids. All these are non-living things. Living thing, the cell membrane. The cell membrane is a living thing. The cytoplasm, the jelly-like substance, we will study about this when we study the cell structure. Membrane, the cytoplasm, the nucleus, and all organelles. These are the living parts of the cell. So cell has two parts, non-living and living, and living has three parts: membrane, cytoplasm, and nucleus, plus all the organelles. Now this cytoplasm and nucleus plus organelles, this is the main living part and it is called protoplasm. And this word protoplasm was coined by a scientist, Parul Jain. We have already studied several scientists in the part 1. Now you can study one more scientist, the one who coined this name protoplasm. He was Parul Jain. I hope you have understood till now. We will study more about cell in the next video. Till then, goodbye, take care, like, follow, comment, subscribe, and keep studying.